Greetings, Spooky fans! Michael here, and welcome to Week 2 of M&J TV's Metronome League. Before we dive into the battles, let's have a recap of the Week 1 matches. First was the Bolt Strikers versus the Intimidation. At the start of the battle, the Bolt Strikers gained a massive lead by KOing 2 of the Intimidation's Pokemon in the first 2 turns of the battle. The remaining Intimidation Pokemon held on for a long time and were able to get some KOs, but they weren't able to make up the deficit, giving the Bolt Strikers the win with 2 Pokemon left standing. Next was the Dragon Knights versus the Leaf Guardians. The battle was relatively balanced at the beginning, but then the Dragon Knights' Togekiss got imprisoned. However, it immediately baton passed out, and then the Leaf Guardians started rolling, led mainly by Snacks the Munchlax. The Leaf Guardians won the battle with 2 Pokemon left standing. After that was the Mist Mavens versus the Entry Hazards. The battle was more in the Mist Mavens' favor until suddenly the Entry Hazard Snorlax named Snackinold exploded, KOing every Pokemon on the field. The rest of the battle was a no-switching slugfest, but the Mist Mavens' Blissey and Politoed proved superior, winning the match with 2 Pokemon left standing. Finally was the Hive Mind versus the Shadow Storm. The battle started very slowly, but as time went on, the Shadow Storm started to wear down the Hive Mind. Once the Shadow Storm's Chansey came in, things really egg-balled, and the Shadow Storm decimated the Hive Mind without a single Pokemon fainting. Here are the standings after the Week 1 battles, clearly with a lot of ties. The Shadow Storm are in the lead, but since there's been just 1 battle for each team so far, standings can and will change a lot this week. Don't forget to pick up some MML merch using the link in the description below. They're only going to be around for another week as of the day this video is posted, so pick one up soon. But now that should cover all the intro stuff, so don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and let's dive into the battles for Week 2 of M&J TV's Metronome League. For the first battle of Week 2, we have the Bolt Strikers versus the Dragon Knights. The Bolt Strikers will be looking to remain undefeated, while the Dragon Knights will be looking to get their first win. Out comes Mr. Prime and Gex for the Dragon Knights, and Tinker and Rush for the Bolt Strikers. Tinker and Rush were fantastic for the Bolt Strikers, so it makes sense that they would be who lead off again this time. Gex is the fastest Pokemon on the field and does get to move first, and gets Magic Coat. If any status moves target Gex for the rest of this turn, they will be reflected back onto the Pokemon that used the status move. Dragon Darts, oh, but 2 Fairy types won't be doing anything. Now it's time for the Bolt Strikers, and Tinker starts off by dropping its own speed, but boosting its attack and defense with Curse. This is actually, I think, a good move here because the opposing Pokemon already outsped it, so it doesn't matter much if it's a bit slower. Drill Peck from Slurpuff. Neither of these Pokemon have good defenses, and that is a very sizable chunk of damage onto Mr. Prime there. Fortunately, Ice type only resists Ice. Despite Ice being strong against Flying, that was a neutral hit. Frenzy Plant, oh, but it misses! Oh, that would have done massive damage due to Inteleon's strength and Frenzy Plant's high power, but it wasn't able to hit it. A physical Flame Wheel coming out from one Mr. Mime onto the other, and it gets the burn. A little bit of damage, but the burn was excellent there. Tinker now has a time limit. Disable from Rush. This is going to force Mr. Prime to switch because it won't be able to use Metronome next turn if it doesn't. Tinker gets Pound, a bit of damage. Mr. Prime is now below half health. We will absolutely be seeing Mr. Prime switch out on this next turn. Water is refreshing. Everyone remember, hydrate or die as we wait for the moves to be selected by the respective teams. Mr. Prime switches out as I expected, and in comes Dee the Indeedee. Gex moves first once again. Fell Stinger, a bug move, but it targets Slurpuff, who resists the hit, and it does very little damage. Would have been neutral on to Tinker. Rush moves now. Storm Throw. I believe Oh, excuse me, I mixed up Circle Throw and Storm Throw. Storm Throw is always a critical hit. Circle Throw forces the switch out. Thunder Wave. Onto Inteleon. It will no longer be the fastest Pokemon on the field. Well, it might still be considering how fast of a Pokemon it is, but that is going to severely limit Gex's battling ability. I believe this is the second week in a row that Gex has ended up paralyzed. No, last week it was poisoned. But it is having to deal with status conditions. Another Fell Stinger onto 2 fairy types, once again onto the Pokemon that resists the move. Strange that they keep trying to use Fell Stinger when it's clearly not the best idea here. Volt Switch, is it onto Inteleon? And Inteleon goes down. Rush with a big, super effective crit KO. My goodness, Rush the Slurpuff is performing fantastically in this league so far. Forced to switch out due to the Volt Switch, and the Bolt Strikers will send in Disco the Ludicolo. The turn now must finish, actually. The turn was not over. Clanging Scales. A strong move. Good chunk of damage there onto Didi. It drops Tinker's defense back to neutral. Who will the Dragon Knights send in to try to make up this deficit that they are now experiencing? Sprinkles the Togekiss, their first round pick. Let's see if Togekiss is able to bring things a bit back for the Dragon Knights. Didi moves first now. Stomp. Ooh, stab move. Very large damage on Tinker. I think Tinker will be going down this turn. I think Burn KOs, but it might just go down here. Gear Grind targets Tinker, and Tinker the Mr. Mime goes down. The second Pokemon to faint. Things are now a lot more balanced. 3 Pokemon versus 3. As the turn finishes, Disco goes for its own metronome and uses Skitter Smack. Oh, I've never seen this move, but oh! Oh, that was sick! Excuse me. That was an incredibly powerful move. Skitter Smack is one of the new Isle of Armor moves. I believe it's a bug type move. It was super effective on Indeedee. That was really cool. Just obliterated Didi. Oh, the Dragon Knights looked like they'd made it more equal. But then Disco's powerful Skitter Smack just obliterates Didi the Indeedee with a super effective bug move. Wow, incredible. Incredible. Lock on. If Mr. Prime gets an attack next turn, it won't miss if it targets Ludicolo. Sprinkle moves next. Double Edge. Ooh, this should do a decent chunk of damage. Less than I was expecting, actually. But I suppose that's good because it made it so Sprinkles took less recoil damage. Dragon Rush. It doesn't target the fairy type. And Mr. Prime is down. Rush with its second KO of the day. Slurpuff was the 4th round pick for the Bolt Strikers, and it is proving to be much more valuable than that. Grassy Glide happened from Ludicolo, a stab move, but it was resisted. So it did not do... Oh, excuse me, I was incorrect. I thought Slurpuff was the 4th round pick for the Bolt Strikers. That was Tinker the Mr. Mime, who last week proved its worth. So far, 2 KOs for Rush the Slurpuff. And the Bolt Strikers are bringing in Royboss the Poltegeist to try and get Cursed Body activated and put a timer on this Togekiss and get this battle done. Tail Whip drops the defense of both of the Bolt Strikers. I don't know if they're super concerned with that right now. It is now a 3 versus 1 battle. Light Screen makes it less likely one of these Pokemon is going to go down. Bolt Strikers have to find the balance between finishing the battle and getting the win, while also trying to preserve differential. I anticipate the Dragon Knights know there's not really a chance of them coming back. They're going to try to get some KOs to make the negative impact on their differential not quite as severe. Another stab move from Ludicolo, but it's a weak one and resisted. Royboss moves next. Takedown. Royboss does not have great physical attack. I don't anticipate this doing much. Oh. Well,
Double Edge did less than I thought it would before, and Takedown did more than I thought it would just now. Sprinkles, oh, uses its own absorb. Will Cursed Body activate? It will not. Togekiss escapes an attack onto Poltegeist. Cut, a neutral physical move. They're whittling Sprinkles down, and Sprinkles has not been able to answer with its own attacks yet. Sand Tomb, Flying type will not be affected by a ground move such as Sand Tomb, despite the fact that Sand Tomb's animation really throws that sand high up into the air. Taunt, oh, this might force a switch, because now Royboss cannot use Metronome. Overheat, ooh, this might just KO. Sprinkles holds on, but this battle will be over in minutes. Less than that, less than a minute maybe. Seems, I think I know what the Bolt Strikers are doing here. It looked like they were going to switch Royboss out, but now that Royboss will be struggling and Sprinkles is so close to being KO'd, they've chosen to leave it in to get a guaranteed attack. Spore comes out, but it targets Disco, who is a grass type and immune. Disco might end it here. Bounce. It will not end it. It will fly into the sky. But the struggle here from Royboss should KO Togekiss, and it does. Sprinkles goes down, and the Bolt Strikers take a dominant win over the Dragon Knights, 3 Pokemon to 0. For our next battle, we have the Intimidation facing off against the Entry Hazards. Both of these teams lost their matches in week 1, which means one of them will get their first win today, while the other will remain winless. The Entry Hazards lead off with Mr. Dime and Abdonis, while the Intimidation lead off with Xander and Springbok. Let's see what moves start off out of the starting gate. Acrobatics onto Abdonis, super effective, but not a whole lot of damage due to Alakazam's lower attack stat and the fact it was still holding an item. Cross Chop from Springbok, stab, physical fighting move, enormous damage to Mr. Dime. Last Resort always fails when summoned by Metronome. Abdonis is the last one to move this turn. Future Sight, targeting the Hitmonlee spot, a super effective hit, but I assume we'll see a switch before then. But that Cross Chop from Springbok, excellent turn 1 move right there. Much better turn for the Intimidation than for the Entry Hazards. The Entry Hazards are withdrawing Mr. Dime already due to it being at such low HP, and in comes Barry, the Alcremie. Xander moves first again, recycling a berry, but it hasn't lost its berry yet, so it fails. Springbok moves again, using Block. And now Machoke is trapped and can no longer escape. I believe as long as Hitmonlee stays on the field. Lick, a physical move onto Springbok. Good chunk of damage there, and the paralysis. Would have done more against Xander, but it was still a solid move up against Springbok. I believe we just saw the Intimidation input the command to switch Springbok out. Yes. In comes Thanatos to better take the incoming Future Sight hit. I believe this now means that Abdonis is no longer trapped. I believe Hitmonlee had to stay on the field for Block's effects to stay. Physical Leafage onto Barry. Some damage, but not a whole lot. I will Barry answer with Reflect. The Entry Hazards will take less damage from physical moves for the next few turns. Abdonis once again, the final Pokemon to move this turn. Dual Chop. Physical move onto Thanatos, who takes it well due to its good physical defense. But it was a decent amount of damage. In comes the Future Sight. more damage, and Thanatos is already down to about half health as a result of all the hits it took this turn. Pardon me while I drink my necessary water. Gear Up! Since last week I've learned that move boosts the stats of Pokemon with plus or minus, and that is why it fails. Scale Shot! One of the new Isle of Armor moves. Hit 2 times, drops the user's defense, I believe, but boosts their speed. So Alcremie will be getting faster, and Thanatos is already down to only about 1/3 HP. The bulkiest Pokemon is already low for the Intimidation. Electrify fails, and now Abdonis uses Thunder Wave. Will be paralyzing another Pokemon. Abdonis sticking around and spreading status on the side of the Intimidation. Thanatos stays in though. The Intimidation choose not to switch it out at this point in time. Xander goes first. Worry Seed onto Alcremie. Alcremie has now lost Aroma Veil in favor of Insomnia. So now Taunt and Disable can happen to the entry hazards, but at least Alcremie's not falling asleep. Storm Throw. A guaranteed critical hit. A little bit of damage there onto Xander. Machoke, another special move coming from Machoke. Extra Sensory onto Xander, who takes that very well. Not very effective. Machoke's special attack is not great. Cotton Guard. Ooh. Thanatos may be lower on HP, but its defense is now fantastic. The entry hazards will have a lot of trouble KOing Thanatos with any physical moves, despite it only being at about 1/3 HP. Xander uses Charge, boosting its special defense, and if it gets an electric move on the next turn, its power will be increased, but of course that is unlikely. Barry uses Venoshock. Neither of the targets are poisoned, but it is a special attack. Thanatos took that quite well, but it's now down to only about 1/4, 1/5. Fairy Lock. No Pokemon will be able to switch out next turn, but at least it doesn't crash the game. Thank goodness. Thanatos, the final move of this turn with Doom Desire. Ooh. Steel type Future Sight. I believe still a special attack, I don't recall, but this is actually dangerous for Barry due to being weak to Steel, and Doom Desire does not display which Pokemon it targets. I expect to see a switch from the entry hazards soon. Howl from Alakazam boosts the physical attack of both itself and Thanatos. Thanatos is now at +1 attack, +3 defense, I believe. Mach Punch under the Ghost type does nothing. So even though it's paralyzed and low HP, I have a feeling the Intimidation are going to want to keep it around. Ooh, the Reflect was, I believe, a turn too soon. Fusion Flare. This is I believe, a special move. It is. It would have done more to Barry if it was physical. Ah, yes, indeed. I was correct. The Reflect from Abdonis happened just a touch too soon. Abdonis was too eager to protect from those physical attacks. I believe Fusion Flare is special. Someone will tell me in the comments. Out comes Barry, as I predicted, and in comes Snackinold. If Doom Desire targets that slot, Snackinold will take it much better than Barry will. Leech Life. Alakazam will be getting some HP back, but not a lot, because Machoke resists it. Fun fact, Bug and Fighting types are the only 2 different types in the game that resist each other. Rock Tomb, physical move onto Alakazam. This should do a lot. Massive damage onto Xander there, and its speed falls. I don't know if it will now be the slowest Pokemon, or not the slowest, but at least not the fastest. Charm onto Snorlax, harshly lowering its attack. And Snackinold takes the Doom Desire. That would have done a lot more to Barry. The entry hazards made the correct switch call there. Xander is being switched out, but Thanatos is staying in due to all of its stat increases. It's a risk versus reward thing here. Do you switch out to try and preserve it for longer, But you keep it in because you don't want to lose the beneficial stats. In comes Chopper the Poliwrath, the last completely healthy Pokemon for the Intimidation. Physical Accelerock. Coming from Machoke, Thanatos takes it very well due to its very boosted defense, but its HP is getting low. Snorlax uses Ice Beam, and it targets Poliwrath, who resists the attack, and it does not do very much damage. Ooh, Thanatos fully paralyzed this turn. First time I believe we've seen it paralyzed in a while. I'd like to draw attention to Abdonis, though, who has not left the battlefield since the battle started. He's doing a good job of sticking around. Snackinold comes out. Looks like they want that physical attack back. Chopper, now the fastest Pokemon on the field, uses Round, special normal move. How about will Machoke take this? Ooh, it's about a quarter of its health. Abdonis is getting low. Trick Room, the speeds will switch. This now means that Thanatos the Dusknoir is the fastest Pokemon on the field. Coaching, a new Isle of Armor move. Blowing the whistle out of its belly mouth, and Chopper's attack and defense are boosted. Pretty good stat boost decision there, boosting the Pokemon that's healthier and more likely to stick around for longer. Ooh, Thanatos fully paralyzed again. Abdonis gets to move now. Swagger onto Thanatos, +3 attack now. But this is dangerous because the damage from confusion depends on the Pokemon's attack stat, which means if this thing hurts itself in its confusion, it's probably fainting. Stored power, no boosts that I know of. Thanatos takes it well, but Thanatos, yes, absolutely. If Thanatos hurts itself in its confusion now, I'm confident it's going to faint. Hyper Voice is enough to take out Abdonis. Poliwrath gets a KO. And some decent damage onto Alcremie. Thanatos does have +3 defense in addition to +3 attack. So it does about even out. But I still feel like it would faint to confusion there. So they do go, the Intimidation do decide to do the switch here. Just to be safe, try and keep Thanatos around a little bit longer. Because if that confusion hurts itself, that could be the end. Decide to sacrifice the stats, get rid of the risk. Will-O-Wisp, ooh, it fails. Seems like it targeted Hitmonlee, who already is paralyzed. Alcremie, Sweet Kiss, and it misses. A failed turn for the entry hazards. Chopper the Poliwrath gets Lick, hits the Alcremie, who survives. No paralysis this time. Snackinold, now the fastest Pokemon. Trick Room, I believe, is still active. Physical Leafage, is it onto Poliwrath? No, it is onto Springbok. Wow, that would have done a lot to Poliwrath. If it did that much to Hitmonlee. Tailwind, interesting. So the Intimidation now made themselves slower for the duration of Trick Room, but once Trick Room ends, they will be faster again. Focus Energy, increasing its critical hit ratio. Getting pumped indeed. Chopper moves next. Court change, and the Tailwind is back on the Tailwind gets moved over to the side of the entry hazards. In one turn, the Intimidation got the Tailwind and lost it. So they will now be faster for the remainder of Trick Room, but then they'll get slower once Trick Room ends. Another paralysis, lots of paralysis in this game, and it prevents Snackinold's movement. The speed is tough to keep track of in this game due to all the Tailwinds and Trick Rooms and paralyses. It's a lot. The Swallow from Poliwrath fails, makes sense. I don't even know if it has a mouth. And Flare Blitz coming from Alcremie onto Springbok, and it KOs! A crit Flare Blitz from Alcremie. Crit probably due to the Focus Energy. Springbok is down and Barry survives the real recoil damage. This is a close match, folks. Each team has one mostly healthy Pokemon and 2 lower health Pokemon. Xander moves first, still the fastest even with the Tailwind on the other side, but the Hypnosis misses. Barry moves next, Electrify. I don't recall exactly how this move works. I don't know if it changes all moves to be electric type or if it's just normal moves. Worry Seed. It's not damage. Oh, this is the second time this game that Barry the Alcremie has been impacted by Worry Seed. Loses Aroma Veil. Ooh, but that's actually more detrimental this time. Because when you can't switch, disabling moves are... Ooh, Fury Attack. This is stab. Xander's done. Only 2 hits, all that's necessary. Stab, physical moved on to Alakazam. The Intimidation are now behind, with only 2 Pokemon left. One of them being Red HP and Paralyzed. But yes. And I've forgotten what I was talking about before the Fury Attack happened. Oh, Barry might be switching out. That's what I meant to say. Because if the entry hazards can't swap Pokemon out... Yep, there it is. They want Aroma Veil on Alcremie, because if Disable or Taunt happens and they can't switch out, the Pokemon is doomed, forced to struggle. They want Aroma Veil back to stop that possibility. Baby Doll Eyes from Chopper, lowering the physical attack of Mr. Rhyme. Mr. Dime. Mr. Dime, the Mr. Rhyme. Snackinold fully paralyzed again. Thanatos gets to move. Does not fall this turn. Uses Yawn, but it fails because it targets Snorlax. Okay, not much happened on that turn. Chopper moves first. Drill Peck, physical move. Targets Mr. Dime. Mr. Dime is down. The match is even again. Thanatos fully paralyzed this time. Snackinold not fully paralyzed this time. Ice Beam targets Dusknoir. That should KO, and it does. It is not even anymore. It is 1 Poliwrath versus a Snorlax and a low HP Alcremie. The Intimidation are they up against the ropes? Oh, I just realized Chopper should still be at +1 attack and defense due to that previous coaching, and it hasn't switched out unless it had a stat drop that I've forgotten. Stockpile, +2 defense, +1 special defense now. Stockpiling to prepare for this 2-on-1 battle. Barry gets Court Change, but it fails as there were no battlefield features to switch. Waterfall, Water Absorb. Chopper might get back to full from that. It does. Wow, Chopper. Now completely healthy, aside from its lowered metronome PP. Topsy-Turvy fails. Topsy-Turvy switches stat changes, but the one it targeted didn't have any stat changes. Oh, Octolock. Of course, it prevents switching, but Chopper can't switch anyways. But now Chopper's defenses will drop at the end of every turn. It's going to become more and more susceptible to being KO'd as time goes along. Weather Ball, normal special hit. Ooh, a good chunk there, a crit actually. And it dropped Chopper's defense. Chopper, oh, that was the Octolock, excuse me. I thought that was a secondary effect of Weather Ball. So Chopper, I believe now is at +1 attack, +1 defense, neutral special defense. I believe. Chopper gets Thunder. Will it KO Alcremie this turn? Who does it target? It targets Snackinold. Ooh. I bet Chopper was wishing it had hit the other one in that turn. Oh, Barry got Aqua Ring. Barry is at low HP, but now it will be getting healthier every single turn. Snackinold fully paralyzed. This is a tough spot for Chopper the Poliwrath. It's getting more and more susceptible to hits every single turn, while Barry is getting healthier every turn. Chopper needs a big hit. It wants to turn this around. Circle throw, physical move. Who's it on? It's on Snagginold. And it KOs. That was the turn that Chopper needed. Snorlax goes down. The Intimidation might turn this around. Attract from Barry lands. Poliwrath is now infatuated. 2 minutes left until the battle. I don't know who's gonna pull this out. If Barry gets one good special move, especially if it's Fairy or Psychic type, Chopper's done. Chopper's getting weaker every turn, but it's got a lot more HP and it's infatuated. Will it hit through the infatuation? It will not, it's immobilized. What will Barry do here? Throat Chop, oh, it's resisted though. Chopper takes that well. Barry gets healthier. Oh my gosh, I have no idea who's going to win this. Chopper's defense is even getting lower. The longer Chopper waits, the tougher it gets for it. Infatuation, it moves through it. Gyro Ball, super effective. Will it KO? It will! The Intimidation get the win with only Chopper the Poliwrath left standing. What an incredible performance. Down to the wire, Chopper held on. Incredible. Our next battle is the Hive Mind up against the Leaf Guardians. The Hive Mind will be looking to get their first win, while the Leaf Guardians will be looking to remain undefeated. Let's see who the Leaf Guardians lead off with. Dexter and Jazz Hands the Rampaging. Adventure and Gold are who come out for the Hive Mind first. Frailer Pokemon up against more defensive Pokemon. Well, actually Dexter's not that defensive. Adventure gets to go first due to Prankster and Poison Gas immediately poisoning both enemy Pokemon. But Synchronize kicks in from Dexter. This means that 3 of the 4 Pokemon on the field are immediately poisoned. Wow, you don't see that very often. Hammer Arm onto the Ghost type Adventure does nothing. Gold gets to move now and dives. Ooh, this is a physical move. Whoever it's targeting will do a lot to. Now, Jazz Hands the Rampaging gets Nightshade, which would have been great, but it misses Hitmonchan due to its swimming. Hitmonchan is actually, I believe, housed in a dive ball, so it diving right now is very appropriate. We'll see what happens now as the poison damage already a good chunk done to these Pokemon. Dexter gets switched out. Into the bulkier Snacks in case the dive targets that slot. Snacks is bulkier and will take the dive better than Dexter would. Zing Zap, an electric type move onto Snacks. Ooh, good chunk of damage there from Adventure. The dive hits Jazz Hands, does a good chunk there. Wow, at the end of the turn, Jazz Hands the Rampaging will already be down to about half health. Speed Swap. Ooh, Dusclops just got substantially faster, while Hitmonchan got slower. Jazz Hands the Rampaging already under half health. This is not a great start for the Leaf Guardians. Adventure continuing to move first thanks to having Prankster. Powder Snow will be a bit of damage to both Pokemon. Critical hit on Snacks, and it freezes it! Oh my goodness! Wow, that was one of the luckiest Powder Snows I've ever seen! Vacuum Wave again targets the Ghost type. Wow, the Leaf Guardians can't seem to get a hit in. Crunch! Physical Dark Move onto Jazz Hands the Rampant. Oh my, it's just down! It's already down! Jazz Hands the Rampaging goes down and Snacks does not thaw out. Wow, everything is going right for the Hive Mind. Nothing is going right for the Leaf Guardians. One Pokemon already down. Another frozen at just a bit over half health. And the Hive Mind, the only damage they've taken is the poison damage on Adventure. Gold hasn't taken a single hit yet. Poison Tail. Onto Snacks, another chunk of damage. Can't poison because it's already frozen. Dexter moves next. Grassy Terrain. Okay, we're gonna get some health back. Every Pokemon will be healing right now, including Adventure. Gold is still at full, so it doesn't impact Gold as of right this moment. But I bet the Leaf Guardians are appreciating that. Oh, Boom Burst! Oh, and Adventure is immune. This is damage on both enemy Pokemon. It's not much damage. Snacks remains frozen. And here comes the Grassy Terrain healing. Leaf Guardians probably appreciate this Grassy Terrain, not only because it is grass type affiliated, like the Leaf Guardians, but because their Pokemon are hurting and they need health back. I believe Poison does more damage than Grassy Terrain heals. I might be incorrect on that front. At the very least, it's decreasing the amount of damage Poison is doing. But Gold, the Hitmonchan, still hasn't taken a hit. Adventure using Minimize. A detriment if it's targeted with Heavy Slam or another weight-related move, but that's unlikely. What's more likely is that it will avoid attacks. Teeter Dance. Now every Pokemon on the field except Dexter is confused. Poor Snacks over there, confused and frozen. We'll have difficulty getting any moves through at all. Gold, will it break through the confusion? It does. Remains damageless for the time being. Conversion 2. And Gold is now a rock type, and Snacks remains frozen. I believe how Conversion 2 works is that it converts the user's type into a type that resists the target's most previously used move. Since Teeter Dance is a normal type move, Gold became a rock type. Perhaps we should change Gold's name to Dwayne. After all, it is the Rock now. Adventure gets to move next after some Grassy Terrain healing and poison damage. Muddy Water misses one of the enemies, but hits the other. Snacks taking more damage, Snacks getting low and still has not thawed out. Freeze can be devastating in this game. Hyper Beam, ooh, that would have done big damage to Gold, but it targets the Ghost type. Ooh, Gold hurting itself, and Snacks finally thaws out and attacks through the confusion. Doom Desire, a steel move will be coming in to the Hive Mind's side, but I anticipate neither Pokemon will switch due to both Pokemon in the back being fairy types. Wow, it's been incredible to see the amount of damage that the Hive Mind have avoided this battle. I believe the only damage that's happened to Gold has been self-inflicted. The same being true for Adventure, it's only taken poison damage that was self-inflicted because it poisoned a synchronized Pokemon. Additionally, Sableye, a lot of people overlook Sableye due to its lower stats, but its Prankster and the fact that it has 3 immunities, which has made it avoid a lot of damage in this battle, are really huge benefits. Does hurt itself in its confusion though, its health is getting low now. Fire Blast, special move on to Gold. Gold finally takes a direct attack damage, quite well actually. Because it's a rock type, it resisted the hit. Conversion 2 coming in handy. Fell Stinger, who does it target? Targets Munchlax, will it KO? No, it will not. Would have been a big attack boost for Gold if it had KO'd. Snacks, ooh, hurts itself in its confusion and Snacks goes down. Snacks, the MVP for the Leaf Guardians last week, just nothing going right for it this week. I believe it only got to actually attack once with the Doom Desire. The rest of the time it was either frozen or hurt itself. This is a dominant showing by the Hive Mind. Hive Mind were defeated in dramatic fashion last week, but now have come roaring back. Have KO'd 2 of the Leaf Guardians Pokemon. Not a single one of their Pokemon has gone down yet. Adventure is close, though. It seems they are not opting to switch. Interesting. Opting to go for another attack. Ah, because of Doom Desire. It seems that the Hive Mind are deciding they would rather risk Adventure going down than risk one of the fairy types in the back taking the Doom Desire damage. Heal Pulse from Smiley into Adventure! Wow, truly nothing is going right for the Leaf Guardians today. Adventure was on, and an explosion! Wow! The Leaf Guardians have one Pokemon left. It doesn't affect Smiley or Adventure. And Gold doesn't even faint! Incredible! Oh, might hurt itself in its confusion here though, and it does! Wow! As poetic as it can be, Gold and the Doom Desire misses because of the Minimize. Munchlax's one move didn't even hit. Wow. Have we seen a team get less lucky so far in the MML? Maybe the Intimidation. And maybe the Hive Mind last week. Oh my gosh, the Doom Desire missing, the explosion, the freeze, the early crunch on Dusclops. My gosh, the Hive Mind are rolling. Sucker Punch fails. Metronome is not considered an attacking move. Takedown. Bit of damage to Chanel, but it wears on Smiley. Chanel is in. Its Aroma Veil protects both Adventure and Chanel from Cursed Body. So in order for the Leaf Guardians to have any chance of winning this, Smiley needs a big hit onto Chanel, maybe a Sludge Bomb or Sludge Wave. Needs to get rid of Aroma Veil and then have Cursed Body kick in and have these Pokemon start struggling themselves down, but that is unlikely. Adventure not left the field this entire battle despite being poisoned. Incredible showing from Adventure today. Gnosis misses Cotton Guard. Okay. Smiley's trying to stick around, bolstering its lower physical defense substantially, drastically even. Chanel moves now. Iron Head, which will do less now thanks to the Cotton Guard defense boost. Adventure finally back to under half health after being in red HP. Ah, seems the Hive Mind are electing to switch out Adventure to try and preserve differential. They're sitting at -4 differential prior to this battle. So they're trying to win by as big of a margin as they possibly can to try and counteract that massive loss from last week. This will just be one resisted hit, indeed very little damage. Beat Up does one hit per member of non-status conditioned, not fainted party members, and of course, right now that's only Smiley the Gengar. Rockwrecker from Chanel misses. Probably wouldn't have done a whole lot of damage due to Smiley's bolstered defenses thanks to Cotton Guard. Smiley gets Fling, and it flings its Leppa Berry. Smiley has a time limit. Unless one of these two Hive Mind Pokemon fling their Leppa Berries back, once Gengar runs out of Metronomes, it will be struggling. Flame Wheel coming out from Clefable won't do a whole lot of damage. Ooh, but it gets the burn. Even more of a time limit on Smiley. If Smiley wants to bring this back, it honestly needs a miracle, because burn is going to wear it down. It's got to KO 3 Pokemon. Let's see what Smiley does this turn to try and bring it back. Low sweep. Oh, another resisted hit. It is simply not getting the right types of moves when fighting against fairies. Poison moves would be devastating right now. Might even KO both if it got Sludge Wave. False Swipe does nothing. Bolt Strike. That Cotton Guard really coming in handy for Smiley, wow, it did that much damage when it was at +3 defense. Cotton Guard certainly saved Smiley, certainly would have gone down sooner if not for that Cotton Guard. Water Spout, ooh, but its power is low because its HP is low. This does a bit, but not enough. Needed that Water Spout much earlier. Shell Smash, Luna boosting its speed, offensive power in exchange for lowering its defenses, which it can honestly afford at this point. I think the Hive Mind are feeling confident. Smiley has been unable to get any substantial damage on either of these fairy types, despite having the type advantage. Poison Powder, of course, fails. Would have failed even if Smiley was not burned. And the burn now gets it into red HP. This battle might be over this turn. Is Luna now faster to the Shell Smash? No, it is not. Smiley still gets to move first. Sing! It hits, Chanel falls asleep. But Luna might end it now. Most any attack, I think, could KO from this range. Heat Wave, that should do it. And it does! The Hive Mind come roaring back from their bad loss last week to get a dominant 3-0 win this week. The final match for this week is the Mist Mavens versus the Shadow Storm. Two undefeated teams enter this battle, but at the end, only one will remain that way. The Shadow Storm on the right, leading off with Buster the Miltank and Armando the Machamp. Meanwhile, for the Mist Mavens, Hellion Spawn, the Grimmsnarl, and Chad the Kadabra. Hellion Spawn gets to move first thanks to Prankster. And a smackdown onto Machamp, who resists the hit. Chad goes next with Fell Stinger. On to Miltank, who takes it extremely well. Doesn't even resist the hit, it's just that Kadabra has very poor physical attack. Curse, Buster making itself hit harder physically and take physical hits better, but it will be a bit slower now. However, both of the Shadow Storm's Pokemon are already moving after the Mist Maven's Pokemon, so getting a bit slower isn't that big of a deal. Hyper Beam from Armando, very strong move, but a special one. The animation for that move is quite something. Ooh, it does more than I actually expected, about a third of Hellion Spawn's HP. Armando does have to recharge this turn though, so the Mist Mavens will get two moves. Light Screen from Hellion Spawn, they'll take special hits better for a few turns. Next up is Chad. Ally Switch, okay. So whichever move Buster uses will end up hitting the Pokemon that it would have hit otherwise. Triple Axle. A new move, a 3-hit ice move, doing more damage each time, but it only hits twice. Ooh, Hellion Spawn already very low HP. Not a good first two turns for Hellion Spawn, but the Ally Switch may have prevented a KO. Chad might have just gone down there to the first two hits of Triple Axle due to its far inferior physical defense compared to Grimmsnarl. In comes Hopper, the Politoed. Chad uses Pluck, ooh, removing the Leppa Berry from Buster. Unless Buster is able to eat someone else's Leppa Berry, it will start struggling as soon as it is out of Metronomes. Feather Dance will be decreasing the physical attack of Politoed here, partially lowering it. Functions the same as Charm. Armando uses Storm Throw, a stab, guaranteed crit. Devastating damage to Hopper. 3/4 of its health already gone. This battle is starting very good for the Shadow Storm and quite bad for the Mist Mavens. Two of the Mist Mavens Pokemon already down to just about a 1/4 HP. Slash from Chad won't do much damage due to the low physical attack, as I mentioned earlier. Hopper moves next. Bulldoze, oh, that's gonna hit Chad. Makes every Pokemon but Hopper slower. Not really sure Hopper even cared about that. Not the best move there. Miltank gets Outrage, ooh. Targeting Hopper and KOing Hopper. Rough spot for the Mist Mavens. They're already down a Pokemon. Psybeam, this will not do very much to Chad. Yes, resisted. Machamp doesn't have great special attack. Oh, but it gets the Confusion. Oh, it was going rough for the Mist Mavens. Looks like the Mist Mavens are bringing in Bermuda, hopefully to better take Outrage's hits. Chad breaks through Confusion, gets to attack with Boom Burst. Oh, this is a great move. It won't do much to Chansey, but it does big damage to both of the enemy Pokemon. Great move by Chad there. Blissey gets Last Resort, which always fails when summoned by Metronome. The Outrage continues. Oh, but it changes targets and gets Chad. A great move, but immediately followed by a KO. Whirlwind from Machamp, bringing Blissey out, but she's just going to come right back in. I don't know if the Mist Mavens can win this one, folks. Bermuda is pretty much entirely healthy, but Grimmsnarl is low. Armando is now being switched out. In comes Purina the Chansey. Looks like they wanted a bulkier Pokemon. Helion gets to move now. Helion Spawn, excuse me. Smog lands on Purina and poisons it. However, Purina has Natural Cure, which means the Shadow Storm will be able to get rid of it. Retaliate should get the double damage due to Chad fainting. But Blissey's attack is so poor, it still doesn't even do that much. And the Outrage hits Helion Spawn this time, but it's immune. Mist Mavens probably should have switched out Kadabra for Helion Spawn last turn. It's possible they just simply forgot that Fairy was immune to Dragon. Helion Spawn goes next. Gravity won't impact the floating of any Pokemon. However, it will make moves more accurate. Blissey gets Grass Pledge. Onto Miltank, hits it, KOs it. The Mist Mavens finally take a Pokemon out. Purina moves next and gets Blizzard. Hits both. Helion Spawn holds on though. Helion Spawn needs some kind of healing move, or else it's going to be taken out very shortly. Armando comes back in. Let's see what Helion Spawn can do before going down. Will be able to heal itself? It needs rest or some other healing move. Purina gets swapped out in order to heal the poison. And now Frosting is in, who I believe is now on the ground thanks to Gravity still being active. Psychic Fangs, physical move. Big damage onto Frosting there. Would have KO'd Machamp if it had hit though. Machamp is unable to move this turn due to swallowing without stockpiling. Bermuda moves next. Acid Armor, ooh. A sharp raise to its physical defense, bolstering its inferior physical defense stat. Bermuda is looking to stick around. If Helion Spawn can get a big KO here, or heal here, the Mist Mavens might have a chance. Frost Breath on to Togetic, who is weak to it, and it gets the KO! The guaranteed crit is enough to take out Frosting. It's now a 2v2 battle, but Grimmsnarl is low. Shockwave, if it targets Blissey, oh, it targets Hellion Spawn. Oh, and Hellion Spawn goes down, and now it's 1v2. Oh, the Mist Mavens looked like they were bringing it back. But that clutch KO by Armando, oh no. Close combat is not the move you want to see your Blissey using. Doesn't do much damage, and drops its defenses. Mist Mavens are in a tough spot. If that Shockwave had targeted Blissey, things would have been fine for the Mist Mavens. But Armando targeted the right Pokemon and got the KO when it needed it. The Mist Mavens could still bring this back due to how close Armando is to being KO'd. Oh, it's over. Armando, oh, maybe not. Oh, Triple Kick gets stronger. And it hits all 3 times. The battle is over. Armando, clutch in the moment when it needed to be, giving the Shadow Storm the win, 2 Pokemon to 0. Wow, hit all 3 Triple Kick. That was the perfect move. Thanks so much for watching this week of MNJTV's Metronome League. Don't forget to pick up some MML merch, but that is all I have for now. So until next time, big fans, gotta catch them all.